Hello there, I'm Alex Campbell, and welcome back inside the Red Zone, an area of the field the North Central Cardinals were frequent visitors to as usual on Saturday as they began their 2022 postseason campaign at home with a comfortable and efficient 50-0 win over Lake Forest. I'll of course be joined by head coach Brad Spencer following his first playoff victory as head coach to discuss the performance and look ahead to next week's round of 16 matchup with Carnegie Mellon. This week's player guests are junior defensive tackle Dan Lester, who was recently named CCIW Defensive Player of the Year, and junior cornerback turned wide receiver Nic Rummell, who is now 3 games into that position switch. But first, let's check out the highlights in the mix of sun, wind, and our first snow at a Cardinals game this year from Benedetti Worley Stadium on Saturday. The playoffs are here, and the North Central Cardinals are looking to make their way to a 3rd consecutive Stag Bowl. They began what they hope will be a long playoff campaign at home against Lake Forest, champions of the Midwest Conference, in a battle of old foes on a blustery and occasionally snowy day at Benedetti Worley Stadium. The Cardinals offense got their first big play of the day courtesy of junior wide receiver D'Angelo Hardy, who picks up plenty of yards after the catch to reach the cusp of the red zone. However, the drive would stall as senior running back Ethan Greenfield is stuffed on 4th down, and the Lake Forest defense makes a big early statement. After the first of what would be many 3-and-outs, the Cardinals drove back down the field. Sophomore quarterback Luke Lanin elects to take this himself with the help of a great block by junior tight end Matt Robinson, and the Cardinals have their first points of the postseason, up 7-0. Next, Cardinals drive and Lanin goes deep looking for Hardy, who's able to battle through double coverage and make the catch for the touchdown. Hardy's 13th receiving TD of the year, and he finished with 6 catches for 127 yards and the score. Continuing his run of games at wide receiver, Nic Rummell picks up good yardage on this reception after a well-run route to find space in the Forester secondary. Later in the drive, after the teams flipped sides of the field for the end of the first quarter, Greenfield finds his way to the end zone after shedding several tackles and tiptoeing the sideline. He ran 18 times in the game for 131 yards. Following an injury to Julian Bell, Jake Brock steps up in his place and makes the interception to continue the North Central defensive dominance and set the offense up for more points. The Cardinals are in the end zone in short order as Lanin finds Alec Wolf for the 5th-year senior's first career touchdown reception. What a playoff moment for him. Driving again, the Cardinals offense is denied points this time as Lanin's pass bounces off the hands of Rummell and into the arms of Thomas DeCesaro for the interception. A rare miscue on the day for the North Central offense. After yet another punt, Lake Forest would punt 11 times in this game. Despite a bad snap, Lanin is able to find something from nothing as he outruns multiple Forester defenders to the edge and runs into the end zone on a broken play. 35-0 Cardinals as everything was going their way. If one milestone tight end touchdown catch wasn't enough, how about another? Matt Robinson gets his first of the year off some brilliant play design, and another big celebration ensues. That's also 5 total touchdowns for Lanin, who gives Robinson a much-deserved big hug on the sideline. The North Central defense largely went about its work quietly on the day, but there was nothing quiet about this sack by senior Tyler Rich. For the 7th week in a row, the Cardinals would not allow a touchdown. The offense on the day was wrapped up, as it often seems to be, by sophomore running back Joe Sacco as he weaves through and skips over opposing defenders to reach the end zone. The Cardinals set a new single-season team rushing record with this performance, 4,149 yards. It was also their 2nd ever postseason shutout and 5th this season alone. They're on to the round of 16 and a date with the Carnegie Mellon Tartans. Final score from Naperville, 50-0. In a year that began with a string of milestone victories, head coach Brad Spencer now has another, his first head coaching playoff victory. Brad, congratulations on checking another box and on the team's performance.
Thanks, I appreciate it, Alex. Guys did a great job Saturday.
So let's start with the defense, a program record with only allowing 64 yards of offense. Lake Forest does not cross midfield the entire game. What stood out to you overall from the performance on that side of the ball?
Well, I mean, when you have those kinds of numbers, just about everything. But the guys did a great job. Coach Durkee and the coaching staff really put together a great plan that allowed the guys to execute it and do what they're good at and get back on the shutout streak. But the entire game, I thought we played nice complementary football for the most part, and defense stepped up right away, especially after that first drive that we didn't get points. We went out on downs to come out and stop them fairly quickly and get the ball back and let the offense get going was really important. So, outside of the turnover battle, that was about the only negative I thought coming out of the game, where we didn't execute real well. Defense did a great job stepping up and, like I said, getting back to the zero.
Speaking of stepping up on defense, it was unfortunate to see Julian Bell have to leave the game the way he did, particularly with how important he's been to that defense this season. But what were your thoughts on the way that we saw both Will Vernon and Jake Brock step up in the wake of Julian's departure, particularly Jake's interception?
Yeah, both those guys did a great job, and they're both familiar with playing time. They've both started games, played a lot of football. Jake, it's not his first interception, so it was great to see that. Great to see them step up, and in football, that's what you have to do. Guys have to step in and play to the standard. Injuries are a part of it, unfortunately. So it was great to see both of those guys step in and be able to contribute to that shutout.
And that shutout, your 5th of the season, 7th week in a row without allowing a touchdown, second time you shut out an opponent in program history. Does it mean more to have a performance like that in the playoffs?
I think the guys just enjoy it. Either way you want to win and move on, but for the guys to play to that level, to play to our standard week in and week out, really says a lot, like I said, about the players and about the coaching staff on defense and what they're doing right now, just putting guys in positions to succeed, putting guys in positions to win and make plays. I think as the season's gone, Coach Durkee and the entire staff have really done a nice job of figuring out the pieces, figuring out where guys can really step up and make plays, and then our guys are doing it, which has just been a great compliment to everybody on that side of the ball.
On the offensive side of the ball, Luke Lanin was the star in this game, 5 total touchdowns for him. Was Saturday as in command of the offense as you've seen him this season?
He's had a couple of games like that where I feel like he's just really seeing things and making plays. I think he was 15 of 21 passing. We had one interception. That's about the only one we want back. But other than that, he really did a great job. He even made some broken plays into really great plays on one of his rushing touchdowns. But Luke's doing a nice job. He's a veteran, 3rd year at school, 2nd year on the football field for us. So, we go into most weeks pretty confident that he knows what he's looking at, and then from there it's just, executing, managing the game, and making sure that we're delivering the football where we need to.
2 of Luke's 3 touchdown passes were very much milestone touchdowns, both for tight ends. First, we had Matt Robinson getting his first touchdown since last year's semifinal win over Mount Union, and Alec Wolf, a 5th-year senior, getting his first touchdown catch ever. From your perspective, how did you experience those plays and the celebratory moments that followed them?
Yeah, you could see how much that meant to really the entire offense and the entire team. The guys really love those two. In a lot of ways, they're an extension of our offensive line. They don't get a lot of touches, but they work their butts off every single day. They're a big part of what we've been able to do on the ground this year, and so to be able to get them open and for Luke to deliver the football to them, you could see how excited the guys were. Our coaching staff was really excited for them as well. But they're both great players. They both give everything they have, and each week they're a big part of our game plan, even if they're not touching the ball a lot. But hopefully the next few weeks we can use them a little bit more where we see able.
We talk a lot about D'Angelo Hardy, you and I, on this show, and with good reason, but I think Saturday might have been the best display we've seen from him in a game of just how hard he is to defend.
He is, and you can give him the ball in a lot of different ways, whether it's a handoff, a pitch, a flare, or something downfield. He's an explosive football player. He seems to get better every single week. It's really been a lot of fun to see his growth this year with the departure of so many seniors last year, Andrew Kaminsky, He's really stepped up in a big way in our biggest games, and that's what your best players do. They step up in the biggest games, and he's been able to do that. And fortunately, Luke and all the other guys around them are doing their jobs as well so that he can make some plays.
So after we talked last week, but before the game, it was announced that 19 different players made the CCIW All-Conference teams, including Ethan Greenfield being named Offensive Player of the Year, Dan Lester, Defensive Player of the Year, Jeske Maples keeps the Offensive Lineman of the Year award in-house, and you were awarded with Coach of the Year. What do all those honors mean to you and to the program?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a staff award. Our staff deserves that, so I was really happy to see us get that. They do such a great job every single week putting together game plans in all three phases and asking our guys to do things that they can do. In terms of our players, they absolutely deserve it. If you look at where we're at statistically in the conference, I think it matches how many guys got named all-conference. I was really happy to see that. Not exactly, what our guys maybe, care a whole lot. They just want to win football games and keep playing with each other and keep having a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, they deserve that. It was great to have that, those honors for those guys. And but now they're really just focused on the next season, the playoffs, and continuing to play football. They really want a championship ring more than they want a plaque. But again, it's a nice honor. Thankful that the coaches in our conference recognized those guys and recognized what they've done in the first 10 games this year.
So Carnegie Mellon visit North Central this coming weekend. Kind of a full circle moment after last year's round of 32 game was canceled. They dominated DePaul in their opening playoff game this past weekend. What are you expecting from the Tartans, and how much are you revisiting the research that the staff put together last year for that game that never happened?
Yeah, you certainly do. You definitely pull out everything that you looked at last year in terms of analysis and data and film. And then you look at what they're doing different this year. They're a very good football team. They're very well coached. They have a new head coach this year, but the rest of their staff all remained. So there's some similarities in what they're doing, but they're doing it really well. They block, they tackle, they work really well in all three phases. They play complementary football, and they're having a great season. They're having a lot of success. So we've got to be on our A game. We've got to be ready to go this weekend.
It's time to check the tape with Coach Spencer here on the Red Zone. And Coach, I want to look at both of Luke Lanan's 2 rushing touchdowns. First, on this one, he's got D'Angelo Hardy wide open in the back of the end zone, but he elects instead to just follow the block of Matt Robinson for an easy touchdown.
Yeah, we had a little play pass going here, and they overloaded to D'Lo's side, so Luke did a good job not throwing into traffic. He got out in space and it looked like maybe he had D'Lo, but with a blocker right there and Luke's ability to run the football and his speed, he made a good decision to get into the end zone without risking any sort of interception in the red zone.
We had a really good look there at the end of you and him in conversation after that touchdown. What's the conversation like after that play?
Yeah, just confirming what we saw and making sure he saw the same thing and making sure that he pulled for the same reasons that we felt like he should, just to make sure we're on the same page, and we were. He made the right decision, and fortunately he's athletic enough to still get in the end zone on that type of play.
On the second one, we see a snap that doesn't go quite right, and then Luke somehow makes something out of nothing, gets into the end zone. How impressive is it that he's able to get around the edge when it looks like they've got him contained?
Yeah, great awareness by Luke there, not to panic, just to calmly pick up the football and then assess the situation with his eyes, and saw all kinds of flow. We were trying to move the pocket there, so the defense had started to move to the field, and fortunately Luke is fast enough and athletic enough to pick the football up and still make a play out of really a broken play there. Both those plays are broken plays that he was able to make something happen.
And then finally, on Matt Robinson's touchdown, I thought there was some really neat play design here. Is this exactly how this play is supposed to work?
It is. Again, another play pass where we're simulating power, and Matt is such an integral part of our running game, and Luke on the sideline after said he was wide open. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss him. You can see he kind of shorthanded it a little bit, but you can tell how excited everybody was. for Matt to get into the end zone for the first time this year. He's battled injuries, and like I said, both those tight ends are such important parts of our run game. So to be able to reward them and get them into the end zone here in the playoffs was a really neat moment.
Well, hopefully this weekend is just a halfway point of playoff games at Benedetti Worley Stadium this season, and I'm sure everybody watching is really excited to see you guys back on the field on Saturday against Carnegie Mellon. Head coach Brad Spencer, thanks as always for coming on the Red Zone.
Thanks, Alex.
Opportunity is everywhere. It is in everything and within everyone. Your opportunity is at the center of all that we do, so that you can exceed your personal best.
Welcome back to the Red Zone. It's that time of year where we start having repeat guests, and both of these players have been very important in different ways to the successes of this season. Junior defensive tackle Dan Lester and junior wide receiver and cornerback Nic Rummell. Guys, welcome back, and thanks so much for coming on the Red Zone.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So obviously this was not your guys' first go-around in a playoff game given your prior experience. Is there any relaxation or relief that comes after you get through that first game where you guys are usually very heavily favored?
Sure, it's an exciting time, once we get that playoff bracket, see who we're matched up with first round, and to get that win under the belt. Dan and I are two upperclassmen on our team, so both of us have played in playoff games before, so it helps us with our experience being able to bring those younger guys who are maybe new to the playoff runs together and relax them, and helps us ultimately get closer to reaching our goal at the end of the season.
I mean, kind of like what Nick just said, like the playoffs are one of the most exciting parts of football. Like we kind of treat the first 10 weeks as like, what's going to come CCIW play, kind of gets you in the way, like gets you ready for the playoffs. So when you finally get here, you're normal to it. I mean, no playoff run's going to be the same. So like last year we went through our bumps and bruises, and like you just got to accept what comes when it comes to the playoffs. So I'm excited for the rest of them, yeah.
Dan, another shutout for this defense, a team record with only 64 yards allowed. I don't think Lake Forest crossed midfield. When you're in the middle of it, does it feel like one of your best performances of the season as a unit?
Yeah, I mean, it really did. I think that contest to like the week of practice the defense had this week. We came out and we were all really excited for the week of practice. We kind of all knew who was coming to town. We wanted to play Lake Forest. We were all ready to play Lake Forest. All dove into film study. I think Sam Taviani had a great game. I also think that Dan Gilroy and Tyler Rich played a monumental part, not just in the pass rush department, but like restricting the run box and making me and James Hart's job easier. And then our back seven played lights out. So it was pretty cool to see all that happen. But yeah, overall great defense performance.
Yeah, shout out to regular Red Zone guest Sam Taviani. Love the defense with 6 tackles on the day. Nick, on the offensive side of the ball, your third game now back on that side of the ball. How would you describe your comfort with the offense at this point, and in general, how smooth of a game it was for you guys on the offense?
Sure. Obviously, as you guys know, I was able to play receiver here as a freshman in 2019, so having learned the offense and gone through that full season with all the older guys we had during that time, so it made it coming back this season, just relearning it a lot smoother, a lot quicker. And then with our offensive performance, just doing what we normally do, what those guys have been doing all season, just putting up points, putting up yards, and just going out there and playing our game, not really worrying about who's across from us, but being more worried about just toning our own game and doing our 1/11th. So, but it's been great being back on that side of the ball, just doing anything I can to help our offense keep having the success it's had all season.
How would you describe yourself at this point as a football player? Like if someone asks you what position you play, what's your answer at this point?
I just go with, I guess, whatever I'm playing with that week. I just try to make it very clear to my coaches and my teammates that whatever position they want me at, I'm going to give it my best ability, and I'm going to go out there and play the way that I know how and leave it all out there for them.
Dan, it feels like I've really buried the lead here with you being named co-CCIW Defensive Player of the Year. Congratulations on that. And what does that honor mean to you given the season you've had?
Means a lot, but I think it's a testament again to just the overall defensive play this year. It's pretty easy to do what I do when you play with the guys that you play with. So, I mean, Dan Gilroy and Tyler Rich are two of the best defensive ends, if not the best defensive ends in the country. And I mean, Brandon Greifeld is an outstanding defensive tackle, and we play with the best back seven in the country. So it's pretty easy to do what I do on a Saturday when everyone else is doing their job too. I think it also, Coach Durking is the best defensive coordinator in the country, always has the best game plan every Saturday, and I think that when he makes it as simple and as thought out as he does, it's pretty easy to go out there and deliver the way that we have. So it's a pretty cool award, but I think it's a unit award overall. And I just hope we keep playing the way we're playing and keep zeros on the scoreboard throughout the playoffs.
Speaking of it being sort of a unit award, Nick, I know you kind of ended up being ineligible due to your mid-season position switch, but 19 guys in all make the all-CCIW team. You see the Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. You keep the Offensive Lineman of the Year award. Coach Spencer gets Coach of the Year. As a unit, as a group, what does that level of recognition for the season you've put together to this point mean to you collectively, do you feel like?
I think as a team, it just shows all the effort and the hard work that our guys have put in. You know, I'm super proud of Dan for the type of season he's had, as well as all the other guys on our team that very deservingly got those awards. And I think anybody on our team would tell you, though, that they would trade that award for a national championship. You know, that's the ultimate goal. And, you know, we got, like I said, that one win under the belt. We got 4 more to go.
Yeah, I mean, winning all, like with all those CCIW awards, I mean, it's pretty cool to have that. I think it's pretty cool to talk about and how, like, appreciate what we did for the first 10 weeks, but the real season started last weekend. So we'll see how, I mean, we're all going to come out to play. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but at the same time, it's like, congratulations, we won the CCIW, we all over on conference, like, it's pretty cool, but we want to go win that national championship. And I mean, like, Greeny, I'm super proud of. I mean, he deserved it 1,000%. But Jeske Maples winning Offensive Lineman of the Year was pretty cool. I mean, like, it was. I kind of knew it was coming, getting tossed around by him all spring ball. So like he moved from guard to tackle, and then the opposite side of the line to the back to his tackle position. So it was pretty cool to see him win that. He's like an untalked about hero of our team. So it was really cool to see him get the recognition he deserves. So yeah.
Certainly lots to celebrate for this team already this season. And speaking of celebrations, after the touchdowns by both Matt Robinson and Alec Wolf on Saturday, it seemed like the entire team went crazy. How do those celebrations depict the love that you guys as a team and teammates have for each other?
Yeah, I think you said it. I think that word love is what makes our team. You know, regardless of who's making the play, the touchdown, interception, you know, we all care about each other outside of football, and we're all brothers outside of football. You know, to see our brother succeed and, you know, both tight ends getting in the end zone. I don't know if we've done that in quite a few years, at least that I can remember. So, and those are two guys that deserve it. You know, they bust their butt every day, and they're two guys that a lot of us turn to for a lot of different reasons. So to see them get rewarded for a passing touchdown when they do so much for our run game, you know, they're kind of, as well, along with Jeske, like Dan said, unsung heroes to our run game. To see them get rewarded in the end zone like that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, both those dudes have been through a lot. Like Alec Wolf got hurt in that Wheaton game last year, and Matt Robinson had to sit out. I'm pretty sure of that Wheaton game with COVID and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see both those dudes come back this year and be rewarded the way they were rewarded in that playoff game. And like, they're not talked about a whole lot, and because they just run block. So it was cool to see them actually be able to go out there and catch a pass. I'm really close with both of them, so it was pretty cool to see that. I was the first person to run up to Matt when I saw him on the sideline, so I was pretty happy for him. I mean, and Alec deserves the world, so it was pretty cool to see that, yeah.
All right, so Carnegie Mellon this weekend, a game a year in the making that both teams finally get to play. I know you guys are excited. I'm sure they're excited too. At the beginning of week 2 of the postseason, how are you guys feeling right now? What's kind of the levels of anxiety, excitement? What's kind of the mood right now as we sit here at the beginning of week 2?
I think confidence across the board is pretty high. I think that 50-0 shutout was what we needed to do, especially just to send a statement, I guess, to the country, to ourselves. And like you said, we didn't get a chance at these guys last year. We thought we were going to, but other things changed and happened. So we get them this year. So just excited to get that opportunity and go out there and play Cardinal football.
I think that other than a national championship week, this was my favorite week last year, just like because it's Thanksgiving, and like once Tuesday hits, classes are over. So we go from being college football players to practically being like NFL players, where we're only worried about the game on Saturday. So I'm pretty excited for that, to get to like just relax and watch some film and actually like dive into the game plan this week more because we don't have anything else to worry about. So it's going to be pretty cool. And we all wanted to play them last year. Nobody wanted to sit out week 1 last year. So all that, excitement and overall readiness is coming out this weekend. So I'm pretty excited. I know that they're going to be ready. They had a pretty good game against DePaul last weekend. So we're going to, again, just excited to play Cardinal football. So we'll see how it's going to go.
All right, Dan, you mentioned Thanksgiving, and that's a good transition right into the quick hits this week, which starts with Thanksgiving. Do you guys have any particular favorite traditions, memories? Kind of what's your favorite part about the holiday?
I guess growing up, just those football games, those NFL games on Thursdays. You got a big plate of food and sit on the couch with your family around and watch the Bears play, and because that's my team. We got to make that point. That's my team growing up. So hopefully they play again this Thursday. So hopefully they can get a win. But we'll be doing our stuff with getting ready for Carnegie Mellon.
Watching the Bears and the Lions play football by choice, a Thanksgiving tradition unlike any other.
Yep.
Yeah, personally for me, food is a big tradition for me, obviously, being a lineman and whatnot. But I think my family, it's more just, the same thing, kind of like watching football, eating food. Now my Cardinal football memories, we always have a team dinner on Thursdays, which is always super fun. Everyone gets to go. Everyone sits down. Some parents come. I think my mom's coming. Stuff like that. So it's cool to see two families collide in that way. Being around the boys on Thanksgiving is pretty fun.
So we've talked about Nic's positional versatility this season. If you had to pick one player on the Cardinals football roster to make an entire team out of, one guy who's got to play all 22 positions, who's your pick for who would make the best one-man team?
I'm going with overall versatility here. I think I got 2 options in my head. I'm either going Cody Hart or Gavin Bachnick. And I know those are really, really out of the pocket answers. But Cody Hart went from an offensive lineman to a tight end. Very versatile man. And Gavin is a utility knife on special teams, and I think that he can play every position in football. So I'm going to go with Gavin Bachnick. I'm locking in with Gavin Bachnick.
I'm going to go Sam Taviani. He came in as a DB his freshman year, put some weight on him, so he's a nickel now. I know he played some offense in high school, and I think if you look at him, he has the size of a solid running back, and I think if he played quarterback, teams would fear him because he's definitely a tough guy to tackle. So I'm going to lock in Sam Taviani as my guy to build a team around.
Yeah, I think I would have gone one of the running backs, but I like both of those answers too. No, because now I'm thinking I'm trying to imagine Ethan or Terrence or Jordan playing defense. And again, you got to talk about that athleticism that a guy like Sam has that could run a nice wildcat offense. Maybe he can sling it a bit too.
Matt Robinson playing free safety. That'd be wild.
I'd want to see it.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And then finally, while we're taping, the United States men's national team is playing their opening World Cup game right now. The tournament started yesterday, so I need from each of you, I need a pick of which country is going to win the World Cup.
It would be awesome if USA won it. I don't know if this is the year for that, but I don't know a ton about soccer. I just know Brazil has the highest odds, I guess, to win it. I don't know who they have on their team, out of all honesty, but I'm going to go with Brazil to win the World Cup this year.
Betting on Brazil to win any tournament they enter is never a bad bet.
Good to know.
I'm personally going to go with Argentina. I played FIFA growing up, so there was one time where I packed a Messi card, and I think it was a team of the season, something like that. So I have a connection to Messi that way. Also, he's one of the, if not the best soccer player of all time, and I think it would be pretty cool for him to win one. So I'm rooting for Argentina, but like Nick said, I'm not too big into soccer, but Argentina would be my pick.
Argentina and Brazil could play each other in the later stages, and that could be really fun, especially given that it might be Messi's last World Cup. And to see him go out with a win, I agree that'd be really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of going out with wins, hopefully this season is just a bunch more of them for you guys. Nick, Dan, good luck this weekend, and thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's time for this week's Red Zone Play of the Game. And this week we have to honor Alec Wolf, a fifth-year senior who caught his first career touchdown pass on Saturday in his 32nd career game. After faking the handoff to Terrence Hill, Luke Lanin rolls to his right and finds Wolf wide open in the back of the end zone. Wolf began his Cardinals career as a defensive end, recording 10 tackles as a freshman. It's been a long journey, and what a moment for Wolf as his college career enters its final weeks. That's this week's Red Zone Play of the Game. Thanks for tuning into the Red Zone for episode number 11 of the season. The Cardinals will take the field for the 12th time this year when they host the Carnegie Mellon University Tartans at noon on Saturday at Benedetti Worley Stadium. As usual, you can watch live on both NCTV 17 and NorthCentralCardinals.com. And following the football game on NorthCentralCardinals.com, you can watch the Cardinals women's basketball team take on Concordia, Wisconsin. Until then, though, I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving and hope you can join us for more playoff football on Saturday. For now, I'm Alex Campbell. Thanks for watching.